And January 26th of 2024, I mined the first block of TexitCoin. Now, here's the important part. TexitCoin is technologically very similar to Litecoin. In fact, we started out as a Litecoin clone. And I did that because I wasn't interested in bringing any fancy bells and whistles to the conversation. I was looking at the community and I said, well, I'm going to get into crypto. Which one should I get into? Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum? You know, you got all these great ones out there. Which one should I throw my hat in the ring to support? And I set out to do some research. And that's when it hit me even worse than this Texit thing. What I realized is that Asia now primarily controls almost all the big cryptos. Proof of work cryptos, think about it. China makes the chips that you need to run the supercomputers that mine the crypto. They get almost free electricity. So, of course, it makes sense that they've got more than 51, 52, 53% of the mining power. Think about proof of stake coins like Ethereum is now. Whoever holds the most amount of it makes the decisions on the technology. Well, the biggest exchange in the world is Binance, 5, 6, 7, 10 times bigger than Coinbase. You know, they've got the majority of the crypto holdings. I mean, 60% of all crypto trading now is Japan, Korea, and China. And I was blown away to find out that the majority of the crypto excitement today is in Asia. I said, there's got to be somebody that's doing something like a made in America crypto, right? Make crypto American again. Not a thing. And I said, that's what I'll do. Let's design a proof of work coin. That's the hard way. It's really easy to code up a meme coin and launch a, Hawk 2 Girl token. The hard way is building out the mining infrastructure, but the mining infrastructure is really what matters, because in proof of work coins, we're taking electricity as our raw material. We're working that electricity through these things called ASICs, these supercomputers that are designed to do these complex math equations in a lottery format to get this prize, this digital reward. When I thought about that, I thought this is very similar to how I used to manufacture coins back in the day. I take this big bar of silver, that's my raw material. I'd melt it down using all this production equipment and electricity. And at the end of the day, I get a pile of, 1 ounce silver coins. So when I thought about electricity as the raw material, ASICs as the production equipment, and at the end of the day, I get a pile of digital coins, it's the same thing. I've been doing this for years. I know how to do it. And I said, I'm going to build a mine here in Texas. Texas is beginning to become the center of the cryptocurrency conversation in the United States. Think about it, right? If crypto is all about electricity and power, we've got great electricity here in Texas. We've got our own grid. The only problem we really have here in Texas is the heat, and these supercomputers put off a ton of heat. And we wrestled with that in the beginning. We had a garage full of these Bitmain L3s, that were old, outdated. I was like, we're going to repurpose these things and we're going to get them to make our own coin. And so I have these supercomputers screaming in my garage, and it's 120 degrees. And I said, there's got to be a better way to do this. I come across this technology called immersion cooling.
Like a mineral oil substance. We've got about 252 amps of 480 volt power plugged into the tub.
I don't touch it.
Well, you can. That's the fun thing about it. You can put your finger within like a quarter of an inch of a 480 volt connection, which is like a no-do, without getting electrocuted. So it's kind of an engineered mineral oil.
And it's kind of off because of the heat or the.
It's 16 times more thermally conductive than airflow is. So if you've got these things sitting here and you're just blowing air across the chips, they get hot. Creates a lot of heat.
And now we've got tubs full of something like mineral oil and these expensive supercomputers dropped into these, these exotic tubs that are pumping this fluid outside through a heat exchanger. And this is all stuff that makes sense to me because I've come from this industrial background. And so I started mining TexitCoin in January of 2024. That was back when it was just a twinkle in my eye. And, I knew that it was going to take some time to develop the resources and the assets that would be required for us to turn into something that the world would be interested in learning more about. And it was April of 2024, about 69 weeks ago, funnily enough, that I felt good enough about the project that I introduced it to my friends and family. I invited them to buy a handful of coins and to start mining TexitCoin with me. And I made a very simple program. I took lots of ideas from the people that did it before. I said, we got to build a mine. We got to build a mine that's so big that the cryptocurrency community looks at this and goes, wow, that's a big mine, but we need to build this with individuals. Because it'd be very easy to get one rich guy to dig deep in his pocket, pull out $100 million to build a big mine. But that means that one guy owns it. He gets to keep all the profits from that. We need a second chance. You know, we missed Bitcoin. We missed Litecoin. We missed all these different things. Why not give ourselves another chance? Learn from all those mistakes that were made by the crypto community, the hackers, and the password problems. Let's use these powerful tools that we have today, and let's have a do-over. And so I built us a Bitcoin time machine. I got rid of my gold and silver horse and buggy. I built us a cryptocurrency rocket ship from all the things that I've learned over the years about honest money and voluntary barter currencies and equal exchange of value and cryptocurrency and the great things that it brings to the conversation. I put those all together and I built us the TexitCoin rocket ship. And in April of 2024, 69 weeks ago, I invited friends and family to join me. I said, put in $1,000. We're going to crowdsource this mine, guys. Every time somebody puts in $1,000, we're going to take that money and we're going to grow the mine a little bit. Because not only do we just have to build this mine, but we also have to build a community of enthusiasts that want TexitCoin to win. I mean, look, people have done this before. There's no, questioning that. But they were trying to mine Bitcoin. We're mining our own coin. So not only do we have to build the mine big enough to the point where the world respects it, but we have to build a community that's passionate about honest money and serious about seeing our coin become successful. And I told those people back in the early days that put their money in, I'm going to do 3 things with your money. I'm going to be a good steward of your money. I'm going to build the mine. If you follow the rules of our little affiliate program, I'm going to pay you commission, and I'm going to promote our coin. And that's my simple plan. And if I do those 3 things, I think we're going to have a project that's going to grow and be successful. People are going to laugh at us in the beginning. Oh, man, they're going to think it's funny. And they're going to make the same jokes and comments about us that I'm sure that they did about Bitcoin back when it was in its infancy. Let them laugh today. But if you see the opportunity that I see, you look at my background, the things that I bring to the table, making this project incredibly authentic and a continuation of my life's work, just swapping out that horse and buggy for a digital currency rocket ship, then join me.